Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Films and Stuff podcast. I'm Ethan, joined, as always, by the MVP, Most Valuable Pete. Hey, Pete, what's up today?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
Saturday morning. We all know what that means. It is time for our weekly stream or skip segment. Every Saturday morning, we do it, and I introduce it, as I just have, and hand it over to you, and you remind our listeners what is the concept of stream or skip.
All right. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows for each other to watch. Every week, we randomly assign each other one of those shows. We watch 2 episodes if it's a series, 30 minutes if it's a feature-length program, and on that basis, we determine if that show is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Okay, this week, what did you have?
So I had a new series on Netflix called The Hawk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Will Ferrell.
This is a Will Ferrell comedy. It's a scripted sitcom. Funnily enough, this is Will Ferrell's first ever scripted comedy of any kind, which is, I think quite funny.
All right, so how was it, The Hawk? Actually, The Hawk, before you start, it reminds me of, so this is on Netflix, but it reminds me of the other series that was on Apple TV Plus, right?
Yeah, Stick.
Yeah, Stick.
Premise-wise, they're quite different, but very, very generally speaking, they're both about golf. They're both pseudo-redemption arcs. In Stick, it was Owen Wilson's redemption as a coach, not as a player. He comes back as like a manager and a coach. And in this one, Will Ferrell plays an old ex-PGA star named Hawkins, hence the Hawk.
Yeah.
He used to be really good, but he fizzled out on the tour. I think he couldn't cut it. The pressure got to him. And now he's kind of like running across the country in his like really busted RV, and he's kind of going from local tournament to local tournament trying to get back into the big show. He has a son who is also a part of the professional tour, who's actually also quite good, but they have a very complicated relationship, let's put it that way. Will Ferrell's character is clearly not the greatest dad, but there's clearly some daddy issues that the kid has as well. And, there's a pseudo rivalry, and by the end of the second episode, it becomes clear where the show is going to go. And that show is going to go down to, it's going to effectively become a showdown between his son and him on the same course. I just get that feeling. Like, I think that's what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
His son is already established, he's doing well, but whenever he talks about his dad, he gets angry and he loses the plot and he plays poorly. I suspect what they're building up to is like a chance to get back on the tour, and I suspect that it's going to become father versus son.
But this is a comedy, right?
This is a comedy, yeah.
Is it funny?
It is not funny. So it's funny that you mentioned that, in the sense that Dick was a comedy-esque, but it was more like a drama comedy. It was a dramedy kind of thing. It wasn't trying to be ha-ha funny.
Yeah.
This is trying to be ha-ha funny, and it's not pulling it off.
How is it possible that Will Ferrell has a Netflix show and it's not funny, though? Like, what's the missing ingredient?
I think the missing ingredient is a couple of things. One, Will Ferrell's comedies tend to do better when they're slightly more on the risque side, right? Any of his comedy movies you've seen, Anchorman, Step Brothers, there's always an element of him being either a complete ass and not knowing it, or complete
Yeah.
idiot and not knowing it, but being genuine in that. In this case, it's there, but it's not over the top. Like, it's just not over the top enough. If he were really over the top, it might be funny, but he's just not.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah, I actually don't have much to say about this show. Look,
Could it have been a movie instead? I mean, this reminds me of like the myth, the legend of Ricky Bobby or something like that. Could this have been a movie instead?
This could have easily been a movie. I honestly think it might have been better as a movie, but of course Netflix is trying to stretch out the number of hours of content it creates.
Yeah.
I think this could have been a much better movie. I think it would have been maybe compared to Happy Gilmore if it were a movie. Again, because of the golf angle.
Yeah.
But I think the father-son angle would have played much better as a movie than as a TV series. I know it sounds like I'm being vague, but it's just a flat comedy. It's not that funny. Fortune Feimster's in here. She's not that funny. And I don't find it great as a show.
The father-son dynamic or any familial dynamic is really difficult to pull off in a comedy. And unless it's something like Austin Powers and Doctor Strange and his like son, unless you really make it like a mockery, that relationship kind of can hit a little bit too close to home to like really be the right topic for a comedy.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean is if it was more of a dramedy, it might have worked. Or if they had gone the Austin Powers route and gone completely over the top absurd. This is trying to strike a middle balance, and this is not a middle balance show. That's why it's really flat for me. Because I'm relatively speaking generous, this show would be a mooch. But honestly, I would not be surprised for most people if this were a skip.
All right, so that was Hawk on Netflix.
That's right.
Now, sticking with Netflix, I had a show that's just been released called Big Mistakes. It is a comedy, and it was created by Dan Levy. He's the son of Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Eugene Levy is like the quintessential comedy dad, right? I mean, I think we first kind of met him in like an American Pie, and like he's reprised that role so well. And he's probably best known for Schitt's Creek. I never really got into that show. I know that I think it got like generally pretty good reviews, but I never really got into it just because I always felt that it was a little bit over the top. Never really captured me. But in any case, Dan Levy, if you've seen Schitt's Creek, Dan Levy plays very, very much, I mean, his comedy style, I think, is very consistent. So let me set the scene for Big Mistakes. This is about a family. There's a mother who is running for mayor. She is divorced. It's played by Laurie Metcalf, and she's got 3 kids. Dan Levy, a daughter Morgan, and another daughter Natalie. Natalie is like her personal assistant or like her mayoral aide, helping her with her campaign. This is in a small town. And she's kind of like the perfect daughter. The other 2, they're kind of like the black sheep siblings of the family. And we find out that Levy's character was actually adopted. So the sister, she's like a school teacher. She's got kind of a weird fiance, but he's a little bit funny. And Levy's character is a pastor, like a priest. And he is, in the description of the show, they call him openly gay, but he's not open with everybody. It seems like his family knows, but obviously because he's a pastor, his congregation doesn't really seem to know. But in any case, he plays that character quite well. And the plot revolves around the fact that their grandmother is kind of in the hospital, about to pass away. And Levy's character and his sister are supposed to go get her kind of like a birthday gift, and they want it to be a little bit sentimental because it's probably going to be their grandmother's last birthday before she passes. So they go to kind of like this, I don't know, cheap little dime store, and they want to buy this one necklace, but the guy behind the counter says it's not for sale. So Levy gets like some little crystal figurines, and unbeknownst to him, his sister actually steals the necklace. And they think it's just like, it's a little store. They think it's, just kind of like a $50 necklace, like obviously not real jewels, not real diamonds, and so forth. They give it to the grandmother. The grandmother passes away, and she's buried in the necklace. Now, unbeknownst to them, the owner of the store, who told them that the necklace was not for sale, tracks them down, threatens Levy and his sister, saying, hey, I know you stole the necklace, and I need it back, because actually I'm running some type of like racketeering outfit where I'm like smuggling jewels, and this was supposed to be given to the guy that I fenced stolen stuff to. It's worth a huge amount of money because it is real, and I need it back, otherwise I'm going to harm you guys. And they say, okay, we're very scared, we're intimidated, but actually we gave it to the grandmother. It's on her neck. She's been buried. That's episodes 1 and 2. I imagine what's going to happen is they're going to try to dig up the corpse and so on and so forth. Big Mistake refers to the idea that they got blackmailed by this organized crime syndicate, because they stole something that they thought was not real, but it turned out to be real. And then there's just a whole bunch of, domino effect that take place after that. Plot-wise, not the worst thing to build a comedy series around, but I've given this a skip. But I don't think it's really such a bad show. It's just not really funny to me. But I could see actually how it's got, like, the humor is not so bad. It's just not necessarily my type of humor. Like, you've assigned me comedies before that have just been like, well, this is just not funny, right? I don't like it. It's not funny. This, I can see it's funny. If you like Schitt's Creek, I think you'll probably really, really like this. It was just a little bit too brother and sister bickery for me. Like, there's a lot of bickering back and forth and fighting and insults back and forth, that kind of like throws the organized crime people off, right? They're like, hey, Stop arguing. I'm trying to threaten you with a gun kind of thing. There's a lot of humor attempted around the fact that Levy's character is openly gay and he's trying to hide a relationship and all the kind of drama that comes with that. I don't love the show. I didn't really hate it so much. Like, if you made me watch another episode, I can manage through it. But it's not really funny to me. But I could see how some people would gravitate towards it. Like I said, especially if you like Schitt's Creek and you thought that was a good humor, you'd probably like this. Okay. All the actors, very well accomplished. The dialogue is pretty witty. So not my style, but it's not completely without any type of merit, basically.
Right.
So that is Big Mistakes that just came out on Netflix. So that's Streamer Skip this week. Kind of short and sweet. What do we have assigned for each other for next week?
You and I are going to watch shows, one of which is, I would say, recognizable to you because it's a spin-off. You are watching Dutton Ranch, which is a spin-off of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I am watching a show called The Abandons on Netflix. So we'll see how that goes.
Pete, if we've got a little bit of time left, should we talk about movies?
I think we should talk about movies, and I think we should talk about, more specifically, our predictees.
Summer is definitely not over.
No, we've got a good month of it left.
Yeah,
but we're in the back nine for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely in the back nine where we've got enough visibility on what's happened, and there's not that much apart from Spider-Man. What else big is kind of being released in the next kind of 4 weeks?
On my radar, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't any other movies. There are. But in terms of my radar, I mean, one of your wild cards has still not been released, Paw Patrol.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm a little bit embarrassed of what the top 10 summer box office is going to look like compared to what we predicted, some of which is defensible.
I would say most of it is defensible. Let's quickly talk about our top 10 list, or let's say at least the top 5, okay? Because this is where the real shockers are. Yeah. Our top 5s were Spider-Man, Toy Story 5, The Odyssey, Star Wars and The Mandalorian, and Minions and Monsters.
We're probably not that far off on those 5.
I had Moana in there, but I didn't have The Odyssey in there. Okay?
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Toy Story 5 right now is the number 1 movie with $966 million gross.
Yeah.
The Odyssey has $342 million gross.
I mean, that's only been out for like 1 week, right?
1 week. Yeah. These are all numbers that are reflective of today's date.
Yeah.
Star Wars, in total of its total run, was $344 million. So the Odyssey, by the time of this recording, will already have beaten it.
Oh, yeah.
Minions and Monsters, $368 million. Moana, here's the shocker. It was my number 1 movie of the summer, $188. This is by and far the biggest flop of the summer.
Where did I put Moana?
You had Moana at number 6. I had it at number 1, and I don't know if it's going to make the top 10.
Moana doesn't mean anything to me. I only put it there just because the other ones made like so much money. I was kind of like,
exactly.
Well, I guess people like it, but
Supergirl, $123 million. I mean, this is a huge flop for DC.
I think Supergirl coming at 123 is the biggest flop of the summer.
Disclosure Day, $237 million.
Ugh.
Devil Wears Prada 2, $690 million. Obsession, $447 million.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, but get this, against a budget of $1 million.
That's been like the runaway, unforeseen.
Yeah, that's the big surprise of the summer, as was Backrooms, which is $387 million, again, against a budget of only $10 million.
Every summer, I mean, we say this every year, but I mean, every summer there's 1 or 2 horror movies that just kind of comes out of nowhere because, again, they're so cheap to make, and one of them will just like catch on, and then it will become kind of like a viral thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you think the Odyssey is going to end up?
I think it's going to end up 3rd or 4th.
You think it's going to hit $1 billion?
I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. I think it's going to come close. Look, I look at it this way, right? I think Toy Story 5 and Spider-Man are going to duke it out for number 1. I think that it's very hard for an R-rated movie like The Odyssey to go and become $1 billion movie. I'm not saying it's impossible, right? Oppenheimer almost did it, but I just think it's going to be very tough. And I think, I mean, based on this, I think Devil Wears Prada comes in at either 3rd or 4th.
Devil Wears Prada 2 is really surprising to me because I thought that movie was so disappointing compared to the first one.
Yeah, but you know, like most legacy sequels don't really hold up, right?
The big one is Spider-Man. And
I think Spider-Man will kind of I think Spider-Man is going to be the last big key, and then we can start kind of guessing what the scores are going to be. But this has been a really, really awful year for me. I think this is going to be like just horrendous in terms of the scoring. Out of our 10, I think we've only got like maybe 7 in the top 10. I think you're much more accurate than I am, but even then, I don't know what the final numbers are going to be.
The one I'm really disappointed by is that I capitulated on Moana. I wish I had not done that. But all right, Pete, before we sign off today, can you please remind everyone of our YouTube, social media, and other creds.
All right, like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when the next episode of the Films and Stuff podcast drops for you.
Pete, appreciate everything today. Listeners, thank you for tuning in as always. We shall see you next week, next episode, Films and Stuff podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.